everybody, how are you? Okay, so I've got something a little bit different today. It's another list video, and this is 5 essential movies for practicing musicians. Now these are, I've whittled it down to these 5. Now obviously there are going to be others, and you might want to list them below, and I'll come back to some honourable mentions at the end of the video. Some of them you're probably familiar with, and some of them maybe you're not. But these are more, like if you're in a band, or like you're learning to, you're trying to improve yourself as a player, performer, whatever. Then these are good things to talk about. So we start with first one. Obviously, you must have seen Spinal Tap by now. I mean, it's become so much part of being like a practicing musician. Like there's so many quotes from there. Stonehenge, goes up to 11, Jazz Odyssey, and so on. But if you haven't seen it for a while, it's worth watching again. And certainly if you haven't seen it by now, I don't know where you've been, but you really need to check this one out. So that's the first one. Second one is another similar now, and this is kind of like it's gaining like a cult classic. It's becoming a cult classic amongst musicians, and that's Whiplash. This whole thing about you're trying to push yourself, but you need some sort of mentor figure, and then it kind of goes, how far are you prepared to, what are you prepared to put up with, in terms of like a tutor or a mentor. Brilliant performances by Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. And again, there's there's certain lines there, which are coming through. Wait for my cue, not my tempo, double time swing. A few others, but if you haven't seen this one, it's worth seeing it. Good soundtrack to it as well. I mean, I first saw this through my brother, because he recommended it, and then I think I was either I didn't go that year, or I was coming back from one of the summer schools at the Guildhall. And it just kind of captures that vibe of being like a jazz school. I like jazz. I mean, for me, it's jazz summer schools, but it just sort of gives you that vibe of like what it takes to to actually push yourself, and the actual consequences of that. Okay, actually, I think I'll change the order of these. Yeah, next one. Oh, we're going to go a bit worthy now. This is Hilary and Jackie, and it's all about like Jacqueline du Pré. Excellent performance by Emily Watson as Jacqueline du Pré. If you don't know who Jacqueline du Pré was, I mean, she was just like this astonishingly good pianist, and she was popular like in the 60s, around the same time as like the Beatles and the Stones and all that lot was going on. So I actually did a lot to sort of help popularise classical music and break down some of those barriers between like like the elitism and and like popular music and rock music, etc. However, she was struck down with multiple sclerosis, and the film actually goes into some of that. But why I really want to mention this on the list, I mean, it's also, I mean, it's called Hilary and Jackie, so it's about like the two sisters, I mean, it's based on like the biography of Jacqueline du Pré, but they filmed it in such a way so it's about like the lives of the two sisters. Like as they're growing up as as girls. It's Hilary du Pré who's like the one who's sort of gaining all the attention as being like the genius in the family, and Jackie's feeling a bit jealous about that, so she's pushing herself to be better. And then of course Jackie starts winning competitions and things, and then her career just suddenly takes off, and Hilary's almost left behind. And actually, this film came out before Whiplash, but there's some bits in there, like at the music college, where Hilary, like, she plays the flute, and she's trying to play, and there's this tutor there, and it's very much like Whiplash, because he's going, no, 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 and it's painful, but it's kind of funny at the same time. It's Rachel Griffiths as Hilary Dupre. It's just the way she plays that part as well. So it sort of raises that question about, you may be like an accomplished musician, you may be brilliantly talented, but you may not reach the fame that you've sort of dreamed about, And the other side of that is, like with Jackie, it's almost like, even though it's about like the multiple, being struck down with the multiple sclerosis, it's almost like a warning about, like the dangers of fame, about how, like you get all this adoration heaped on you, but you sort of lose track of, reality, that you're kind of living in this bubble, and you're on tour, because it's showing, things about that, like being on tour. This is at a time when there's no internet, so there's only like like payphones and things like that. And there's this bit where she's in, I think she's in Spain, and she don't want, like, she needs to wash her underwear, and so she's asking the maid, where's the laundry? And the laundry's like saying, oh yeah, there's a sink in the corner, and of course she doesn't know the words for, what the sink is, and so she ends up like, sort of mailing her dirty pants and socks back to her mum and dad, just to get the washing done. But it is a really good film. It's quite moving as well. They play the Elgar cello concerto a lot in it, because, like, Jack and Dupre and the Elgar, they're really closely related. And it is a bit of a weepy one at the end as well, so I'll just warn you about that. There's a little bit of nudity in it, but not in a sort of a pervy way, but more, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, like, if you like Whiplash, you certainly would like Hilary and Jackie, I think. Like I say, there's some really good performances in there. I think you'll love it, actually. Okay, next. On the subject of burnout, really, it's this Miles Ahead. Don Cheadle and Ewan McGregor. So basically, Don Cheadle, he seems to be almost like born to play the part of Miles Davis, because he just looks like just assumed it. He's got that husky sort of, the husky way of speaking, and within the first few minutes, you just believe, yeah, he's Miles Davis. Now it's a semi-biopic, but it sort of takes a few liberties. Basically, like, the story is, that, like, in the mid-70s, like, that Miles is, every few years, Miles reinvents himself. That's one thing that he did. So he's had this tremendous period of creativity from, like, the 50s right the way through to the 70s. And then suddenly he sort of just drops off the scene, and everybody's thinking, well, is he burnt out? And he kind of has burnt out. So Ewan McGregor's this journalist who's he's trying to figure out what's happened. So it's kind of about, like, the dodgy friendship between Miles Davis and this journalist, and you sort of you do get that picture of somebody who, well, now what do I do? Somebody who's always been striving to be better, but has reached that plateau where maybe they feel they've passed their best, but they're trying to find new things, and then of course there's this whole sort of, there's like a chase scene trying to get this demo tape which Miles has made, and it's sort of, when they actually get it back, it's just got all this sort of weird sort of progressive jazz, which, have you ever heard any of his, like, his later sort of albums. Sort of kind of like that, but so it's sort of, you know, would anybody actually listen to it? Would it be commercially viable? You know, that's, you know, so you got questions about, you know, artistic integrity and, you know, things like that. You know, as a musician, are you making albums and doing shows, you know, to improve yourself as a player, or are you doing it to entertain people? You know, are you, you know, you know, what is it? What kind of products are you trying to make? Are you trying to do something groundbreaking, or are you you know, are you almost like a bricklayer? You know, that you just, you know, that's your trade, and every, you know, what is it, album tour, you know, until you fall down, you know. So yeah, so I will recommend that one. It's perhaps not as widely appreciated as it should be, but it is worth a watch. And finally, it's this one, the Red Violin. Now this is basically, you know, it's not a sort of worthy film, but it's like an anthology. It's about this this mythical violin that was made in like Cremona in, you know, like the golden period, and, you know, 17th century, and about like everybody, you know, like from the maker, you know, from like the day that the violin was made, through everybody who's actually owned this violin and the impact that it's had on them, and the sort of the legacy of, you know, like each person who's previously owned the violin, that legacy sort of gets transferred onto the next owner. So if you take ownership of that violin, it's almost like it's a blessing and it's a curse as well, because you've got this tradition to live up to, you see, and so you know, are you playing the violin or is it playing you? You know, it's those sorts of questions. Some excellent performances. It goes all over the world, and you know, it's got Samuel Jackson in it as well. Now he's sort of playing against type, but there are one or two scenes where he does actually revert back to you know, the sort of Pulp Fiction type role, or Mace Windu sort of, you know, because it's Samuel Jackson, isn't it? I mean, you know, but he's like a curator, and he's you know, this violin comes up for auction, and he's not convinced whether it is the Red Violin or whether it's just a, you know, like a copy, or, you know, whatever. So he starts to track down on that, and also a bit like Pulp Fiction, you know, like the anthologies. They're told in chronological order of, like, you know, that people have owned it, you know. But a bit like Pulp Fiction, you get like different angles of the story as it starts to come together. So it's, you know, like, because it's like the auction house, you know, when it's being sold, that's being juxtaposed with when the violin was being made, and then you get different angles on the auction house, and so you start, oh yeah, so you start filling in like more of the picture, you know, about what was actually going on, and then there's a real twist at the end, which I'm not going to give away, but I think you'd love it. You know, I mean, I always put this on, you know, on one of those days, you know, when you think, yeah, I just need a bit of cheering up. It's one of those films, you know, where you can just get lost in it, mostly because, like, you know, like the anthology side of it, you know, like the, you know, because it's almost left it's sort of left in a way where, you know, the story could continue. You know, there could be like a whole new generation of owners for the violin, and you know, what have you. And there's also this, like, Jason Fleming, that he plays this this eccentric aristocrat who just so happens to be a brilliant virtuoso violinist. You know, very much in the Paganini mould. But the way they filmed it and the way that they've made Jason Fleming up, they made him look like Dave Mustaine. You know, because there's this one bit, you know, like with where he's playing this caprice, and and there's all like the ladies are sort of swooning, because he's playing this caprice. But the way he's posing on the stage and the way he's like snarling, it's Dave Mustaine, Again, there's a little bit of nudity in it, so yeah, just to make you aware of that one. But otherwise, yeah, I think you'd love it. That's about my list. Now, and there are some obvious omissions. Like there's the Bill and Ted films. Excellent Adventure, Bogus Journey. There's Crossroads, which I haven't put down. I didn't put Bohemian Rhapsody down because I'm not sure it's well, we'll talk about that another time. And Almost Famous as well. I mean, maybe I should have talked about Almost Famous, but I'll talk about Almost Famous. Yeah, maybe in another video. But I think that these five that'll keep me. Yeah. If say somebody's asking you, well, what do you want for Christmas, or you can't think, you're a musician and you can't think of anything to get them. One of these five, I think they'd be really happy, unless of course they've seen Spinal Tap or Whiplash, or the others. But yeah, so that's all I got for you today. Sorry there's no playing in this video, but there should be in the next one. Okay, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Please comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you next time.